Hey, Snackers, this is Kareem Iskander.
Hey everyone, Matt DeNapoli here.
Welcome to episode 206 of Snack Minute.
This week we're joined by a previous guest who'd maybe been here a couple of years ago, but he represents one of our partners that really takes the notion of automation and programmability and actually created a business out of it. Ali McKeand, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, and then we'll talk about some of the new projects you guys are working on.
Yeah, I'd love to. So, well, first of all, thanks for having me back. It's always a good thing if you get invited back to an opportunity. Ali McKeand, Chief Technologist for Innovation here at boxxe, and also head of our R&D arm, which is boxxe Labs, and very much focused on trying to solve these business problems, technical challenges that are repeatable, where we can really elevate Cisco technology as a whole.
Ali, good to have you on. Before we get rolling, can you tell us a little bit about boxxe as a company?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So boxxe are effectively a Cisco Preferred Partner in 4 areas. So it was part of the new Cisco 360 that was launched last month, moving away from Gold Partner to Preferred Partner status. So very much focused in networking and security, as well as AI and infrastructure, and then a number of other areas of Cisco. So very much I've been part of that journey over the last 2 decades, and deploying a lot of the Cisco technology, designing a lot of the technology and supporting it on a whole life cycle pretty much for 15 years as a network engineer. Now very much focused over the last 6, I'd say 7 years around API integrations, programmability, and just very much just developing software with the team.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, last time you were here, you talked about some integrations you built with Meraki platform around energy management and being able to build solutions that are able to identify energy usage and actually manage those devices through your Wiser Watts platform. I believe you also talked about a use case about automated deployments of retail spaces as well. Which is it was all super exciting for me. I thought it was really interesting. Can you tell us about some of the use cases you've been working on more recently, and for some of your clients out there in the UK?
Yeah, no, sure, absolutely. So, I think first of all, it's probably worthwhile touching on the 2 projects that one we kind of completed and one we're in flight at the moment. Okay. And very much strong collaboration with a really, really important part of Cisco that I feel broadly is unknown, which is Cisco CDA, or the Country Digital Acceleration part of Cisco. So this is effectively supporting customers, supporting partners like ourselves come to the table with brand new ideas on how we can, solve specific challenges in a certain vertical or a sector or an industry. But at the same time, helping to collaborate and co-fund a lot of those software developments or new innovations. So yeah, just to touch on 2 that we were working with them on last year, and we got the funding to accelerate and ultimately catalyze those projects and bring them to life. So one was around an issue that a lot of customers have come to me with over the last 7 probably years, where they don't have and there's no native service, there's no service in the market to help them. And this is around consolidating their Cisco networking cloud environment, or their Meraki dashboards. And this is to ultimately solve 3 pain points. So a lot of our customers in public sector and in private sector used our insights platform, Network Intelligence, which was another one we talked about on the last podcast, where they could see where their Meraki data is hosted. Now, this effectively brought up a lot of questions around the fact that they are UK or EMEA operating organizations, and they need to hold their data in this theater for GDPR compliance reasons. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of early adopters, because I've been working with Cisco Meraki technology since the acquisition in 2012, and back then there were no options on where to spin up your tenant, spin up your Meraki dashboard. So the default was in the US. But as the topic of data sovereignty, data residency is becoming more of a hot topic in the last 12 months than ever. So that was pain point number 1. Where's my data? I don't want all of my smart camera data, switching data, all to go to a certain data center, be that the US or elsewhere. So that was pain point number 1. Pain point number 2 is that, believe it or not, we've got a lot of very valued shared customers of ours that have and operate more than 20 Meraki dashboards. We've actually got 3 customers we're working with. One customer's got 71 Meraki dashboards. One's got 46 dashboards. If you think about the pain points of even just adding an administrator to that many amount of Meraki dashboards, you have to do that task, 70 times. Operational excellence, trying to drive operational excellence and ease of use. Simplicity was always the key word, right, with Cisco Meraki. Commercial optimization, having to have one area to obviously license and so on. So there was that challenge about not just where is my data hosted and how do I get it from A to B, but how do I also consolidate and flatten as many Meraki dashboards so I'm operating a single pane of glass. So that was the pain point number 2. And the third one really is kind of actually, again, coming back into this data sovereignty. As you guys probably know, Cisco engineering have been spinning up new Meraki data centers across the world. You had first, obviously, China for obvious reasons, and then you had Canada, and then you had also the India region, which opened for service about 18 months ago. More obviously in the pipeline there. But the challenge is that for customers to move from the global Meraki dashboard to one of these in-region data centers or environments, it's a rebuild ground up. Right, so you have to delete everything. You have to delete everything from the source, and you have to manually configure hundreds, if not thousands, of hours worth of time. So that captures the 3 pain points, both technical but also business. When you think about it, from how do you drive simplicity around licensing and obviously budgeting. So what we've developed, and I'm really excited because we've demoing to a customer zero, right? Who wants to be customer zero? Well, we've got lots of them, thankfully. So we've been sandboxing it, so creating a digital twin of their environment, and been doing lots of QA and cycle testing over the last few months, getting from data from A to the target source as well. So we have built this capability to flatten the Meraki dashboards down, move them from the US to the EU Meraki region for GDPR compliance. And the aim is ultimately with this particular customer is that we'll get them from several dozen Meraki dashboards down to one. Now, this is obviously quite new because there's a lot of automation involved, a huge amount of automation. It builds upon the capability that we built many years ago with collaborating and co-funding with Cisco around disaster recovery and backing up data. So we created effectively a new workflow and a module called migrations, and a lot of thought into the design, development, and build of that. And it would be an out-of-hours exercise. So it's not just developing the software, but it's putting the proper services package around it, because it's going to have to be done on weekends and evenings. So yeah, we're really super excited about that particular development, because we often get customers coming to us inbound saying, we've got 4 dashboards, how do we flatten them? Or we've got cameras that are streaming video footage and thumbnails to another region. From a data sovereignty perspective, we need to bring it back into region and making sure it's GDPR compliant. So yeah, we're going to be cutting our teeth on that particular migration and brand new capability that the Cisco CDA team have been really, really supportive and a massive enabler on. So yeah, that's one area of development and R&D that we've been working on. Probably I'd say about 6 months since we kicked that off and got the team involved. The second area is super exciting. So you mentioned Wiser Watts a moment ago, Matt. So good stat for you. So around sustainable networking, when we quantified only a few weeks ago before Cisco Live, how much energy waste did we remove in 2025 from a Cisco network for PoE perspective? We saved, just with one use case, so power over Ethernet optimization, we saved 386,000 kilowatts of energy waste from a network.
Wow.
Now, so that's hard to kind of, well, I wish it was powering my house, let's be quite honest.
Yeah.
A lot of energy that I would save. But when you look to kind of rationalize that and quantify it, it's actually fully charging up 6,750 Tesla Model 3s by an equivalent. Yes, there's a lot. It's a lot, but we wanted to try and see, okay, well, we've built 4 use cases into Wiser Watts around Cisco sustainable networking. How do we support customers even further, and probably before they're even able to use some of those use cases? So we were part of a API pilot back in late 2024, which was around using the Cisco CCWR or Commerce API. And we were really kind of grateful to get introduced into that pilot. because we wanted to try and see how can we provide more conversations for our people and obviously more insights for our customers. So it was all around product carbon footprint. So the Cisco Sustainability Office have been doing some fantastic work over a number of years now in trying to support customers. So a lot of our universities and other customers in public sector with really vital information that they need for their different scopes, scope 2, scope 3, around what is the product carbon footprint of this Nexus data center switch or of this campus or branch catalyst switch. And just to give a little bit more context about what is product carbon footprint, because I often get that at the moment from various people. So product carbon footprint is the manufacturing carbon, the operational use estimate carbon, and then also the disposable. So when you have to come to actually recycle it and dispose it, what's the kind of carbon? It gives all huge tons of data for just a single product ID or SKU from Cisco. What we've done very quickly in a few weeks, in February just gone, was the ability to use our platform network intelligence, which processes around 300,000 individual Cisco devices every evening at midnight, but effectively deduping, aggregating all of those different product IDs, then making API queries to the Commerce API from Cisco, pulling in that product carbon footprint data, and then giving each of those customers, we've got about 1,000 customers on that network intelligence platform for Cisco, is provide them with a product carbon footprint assessment report that shows them and tells them this is what currently we've got online, but also what the product carbon footprint is. But, so that's phase one. It's in staging at the moment. So we're just kind of testing and exercising it, comparing to what we used to get manually from Cisco. So we would have to basically pester someone at Cisco saying, please, can you produce my customer a product carbon footprint report? Here are the product IDs. Now we're self-serving ourselves, and also our customers can self-serve as well. So we've automated what we do today, which was a manual process. The next phase is to actually provide on our network intelligence dashboard the different widgets and insights on, okay, what's the product carbon footprint of our data center? So they can actually see what that currently is today. What's our product carbon footprint for campus and branch networking, as well as other areas like security. And that's also to help around conversations from a perspective of, would it be sensible to refresh your network or your data center today rather than wait, budgeting it for 2 or 3 years in time because of the potential estimated energy savings? Because, there is the potential that a lot of the newer technology from Cisco, like we've all seen over the last decade plus, is things become more energy efficient because it's been built in by design. It's not an afterthought on the fact that, it is a precious resource, just like water and so on. So yeah, those are the two areas we focus on. So Meraki Dashboard Data Migration, which I'm super excited about because I've been wanting to build it for feels like about 7 years. And then also the product carbon footprint Cisco assessment reporting.
I love what you're doing with the automation. I think you're using the platform, the capabilities from an API perspective, and pushing the limits on your customer solutions, which is something that's super exciting to see. This is something that Matt and I have been talking about since our inception of DevNet, and adopting automation and seeing it actually become a business model is kind of it's pretty great. I think one of the things that, just in listening to you talk about the 3 awesome projects that you're working on, one of the things that kind of wanted to ask you, and I'm going to bring this up. So what are you doing with AI in the mix and all of that? Are you doing anything with it?
It's almost like I knew you were going to ask that question. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, again, it kind of frequently comes up. A lot of 2025 for me, and probably the latter part of 2024, was using these. So listening, learning, and discovery, and mostly listening, learning to our customers, but also very much obviously what Cisco leaders were looking at and what their thought process was around building, AI into platforms as opposed to, just a buzzword. And so yeah, really we kicked that off about a quarter ago. So kind of, I want to say November time, December time, where we were looking at what is the killer use cases. Now, what often I get asked, are we going to be building another platform? I'm like, wow, I've kind of built 4 in like this space of 1 financial year. We're not looking to build new platforms because we want to find those problems to solve and then build a platform if we need to. a lot of time, actually, what we find, like with the two Cisco CDA-funded projects that we're working on at the moment, that's actually building capability and layering on what we already built. So the Meraki data migration platform, building into an existing platform that we built a few years ago, similarly with the product carbon footprint. But as it relates to AI, it's really, I've found a couple of killer use cases where I can see that we could help customers and our own people with solutions such as the one I mentioned about network intelligence, where we can speed up that time to answer. So when customers log into the network intelligence platform, they're logging in to gain an answer to a question they have. So can we remove some of that time? So rather than having to look through widgets and pie charts and spreadsheets for that particular answer, can they actually ask an AI agent that particular question and then serve up that information from our SQL databases? So we've put together a high-level design on how component parts would all fit together. Where would the data sit? Obviously looking at it with the guardrails and obviously how important that data is that we're processing every 24 hours for customers. So you really, for me, it's around what we do today, but can we optimize it further? And really, a lot of the time I see AI as really just an evolution of automation of what we've been doing, trying very hard over the last 7 years.
Yeah, that was a great question, Kareem. Ali, I think I could sit here and listen to you talk about this stuff all day, because we always talk about it, I mean, for the most part, in the terms of education. And I always love when we get the opportunity to talk to you and people like you who bring it out into the real world. And so unfortunately, we do have to call time. But I thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. Hopefully for you snackers, you found some inspiration in what Ali has provided for us today around, needs-based solutions, obviously, but really interesting ways at approaching things where we're managing power and cost and data management. And so really exciting to have you here. Thank you so much.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So snackers, hope you enjoyed this conversation with Ali. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks, Ali. Thank you, snackers.